I think skincare in general, to be very honest, is a big marketing gimmick. The only two things that have actually helped me are sunscreen, moisturizer, and a good face wash. Oh my god, I'm using this brand. Oh my god, I'm using that brand, and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. So everything that Gen Alpha and even Gen Z, even millennials to that point, like which includes us, I think all of it is driven from a focus of a marketing gimmick. Fat positivity is 115 kgs, looking great, going to stay like this, never going to lose the weight.
However, there are people sometimes with family and friends and close people at the same times who do not know what body positivity is. So how can we engage into a conversation with our family and friends?
I think what worked for me was to really sit. I think skincare in general, to be very honest, is a big marketing gimmick. The only two things that have actually helped me are sunscreen, moisturizer, and a good face wash, along with hydrating myself like crazy. All of these other things that have just become like a marketing gimmick that, oh my god, I'm using this brand, oh my god, I'm using that brand, and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. So everything that Gen Alpha and even Gen Z, even millennials to that point, like which includes us, I think all of it is driven from a focus of a marketing gimmick. I want to look a certain way. I want to be a certain way. I want to be up to this level of this influencer. I want to be able to do this. So it's all driven from a negative place, really. But again, having said that, it's important to figure out what's good for your health, because at the end of the day, all of this conversation that we are having, whether it's body positivity, whether it is social media, the mental health that we talk about, all of it comes back to one thing: us as humans, us as individuals, who we are and what we should be focusing on. And frankly, the only thing we should be focusing on is our own mental health and mental and physical health. And the only way to do that is to look internally and not for external validation.
So how can we include diversity and inclusivity in media representation?
I think the easiest and the most important way is to start showing different sizes and different colors in brand campaigns. We just had Lakme Fashion Week, and honestly speaking, I went for a couple of shows, and the shows I went for had zero plus size representation. Yes, they had a lot of color representation, which is a great way forward, and that has always been something in the modeling industry that's been accepted. Color representation is very easy. There are models from all walks of life with different colors, and that's great. I think that's a great, great thing. पहले होता था कि गोरी चिट्टी चाहिए. Now that's not really a thing anymore, which is beautiful. I think that's one place. The other place where we can talk about representation and becoming more forward with it is in terms of having these conversations.
Yeah.
Having these conversations, putting plus size content creators on the forefront of major media campaigns, not just your smaller brands that are catering to plus sizes. It should not be that I have to go to Zara and then have to go to Zara online to figure out where is my, do I even get something from you. Zara is actually one of the brands which is the hardest to shop at as a plus size person, which is really sad.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen their models. I don't see a single representation of online.
At least,
Plus
yeah.
size, yeah, at least.
Indian fashion brands, I know a lot of the bigger designers are starting to cater towards plus size models, have them in their campaigns. There's one odd, if you have 30 models, there'll be one or two models who are plus size or don't look your generic way. So
Yeah.
start including them. I think brand campaigns is one of the easiest and the fastest ways to really get to a place where we have more inclusivity. Having these conversations again, talking about it, getting more plus size content creators to come on podcasts, to come on talk shows, to come on TV, come and talk about these issues that we face. And then movies, have you ever seen a plus size lead in any movie?
Just barely any 1%, 2%.
And those are also all mostly indie films. If you talk
Yeah.
about mainstream media, the two roles that I can really even think of the top of my head is Dam Laga Ke Haisha and Anjali Anand in Rocky and Rani, both of them did fantastic. Bhumi Pednekar and Anjali both did fantastic roles in these movies. But where do we go from there? Gayatri's role, Anjali Anand's role in Rocky Rani was a side role, right?
Yeah.
And the dialogue she said, I don't know if people remember or resonate with it, but I remember because when she talked about why she's fat, why she has food issues, it all stems from your family, it all stems from your close knit circle and the way you felt, because you don't just become plus size. Plus size and having a bad relationship with food goes very hand in hand. And when I saw that scene in that movie, right, I cried. My mom was actually next to me and she saw me cry and she understood it as well, like why I'm crying and why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling. But we need that representation. We need to talk about how it makes us feel when we are left out, from conversations, from occasions, from being disinvited to things. It's happened to me actually one time and I hate it, but I was disinvited from going somewhere with somebody because I didn't look a certain type that I should have for this person's family. And I was like, oh my God. And the fact that I took it at that time, now I wouldn't, but at that time, you don't know what you're going through. You don't understand your emotions. So we need this kind of representation and we need the talk to understand and as individuals become more empathetic to issues being faced by any sort of marginalized community, not just a plus size person. I'm talking as a plus size person, but I'm sure somebody who's dark skinned has had a different experience in life. Somebody who's LGBTQ plus has had a different experience in life. And funnily enough, I have so many of these people in my life who I love and adore and have shared these experiences with me that I wish that somebody can give them a platform to talk about this because a lot of people would have faced it.
Did you also miss out on the job opportunities?
I don't think me particularly, because I've never really been in a job other than when I worked on this Indian Film Festival in Melbourne. Since then, I've been in my own business in the US and with my family business here in India, and then creating content. So I haven't been in a job per se, but have I lost opportunities because of being a certain size? Possibly. That is very, very true. And I know that there are people who go in for job interviews, and I know people who have gone for job interviews or who look a certain way or are plus size, and they're immediately told that, the vacancy is not there, or, how will you even perform this role? What does my weight have to do with me performing a job or not?
Yeah.
I do a lot of trade shows. Thankfully, I know my stuff, so I know my product, I know my environment very well, and I dress a certain way and I know how to attract a customer, and I do that. But have I seen plus size people become very in their own shell sort of and not make the best of the opportunities being presented to them? 100%. 100%. I think sizeism makes such a big difference in today's world, and people don't give people enough opportunities. With that, have I lost opportunities for Instagram, for modeling, for things because I look a certain way? Yeah. They would rather me look a certain size and then give me that opportunity, take me somewhere. But you have to learn to see where your value is. And once you start learning your value, that's when others will start seeing your value.
Yeah, I think talking about media representation, Victoria's Secret recently
Yeah.
has, I think, done a good job. At least they have, come up after 5 years.
Yeah.
I think there was a lot of backlash that they got back
Yeah.
in the day, and then this time they've come around with flying colors.
So I think Victoria's Secret did a fantastic job with their fashion show this time, and they had a lot of representation. They had a lot of millennial representation as well, which is beautiful. Size representation, color representation. But you have to understand that this comes from America. I think it was shot in New York, or it comes from New York, and it is an environment where I also learned to become more body positive by being there, by understanding, what it really means to be body positive. And it also comes from a place where they're having severe pressure from brands like Savage by Fenty, which, is Rihanna's lingerie brand. brand, and you should see the representation Rihanna does. I mean, those shoots that happened initially also when Savage by Fenty launched were phenomenal. Like, if you want to talk about an inclusive campaign, look at Savage by Fenty. And you have size, you have color, you have Indian models, you have black models, you have white models, you have everybody, you have Caucasians, every single sort of ethnicity you could think about, every single sort of person you can think about is there. LGBTQ representation, you know. So if we want to talk about inclusivity and a campaign that really shows it, Savage by Fenty. That is the epitome of where everybody should aspire to be, at least according to me. And I think that's where the pressure on Victoria's came from, because they're a dying brand. You know, I used to love shopping at Victoria's in Herald Square, which was one of their biggest stores at the time, closed down.
Yeah.
Why? Because people are moving towards brand that showcases more of what I look like. I want to see online, if I wear that bra or that lingerie or that top or that jeans or those pants, anything, or the dress, how does it look like on me? And the more representation you have on there is the more successful brand that you will have, you know.
Can you discuss the intersectionality of sizeism and other oppressions?
When you talk about arranged marriage, right, that will be such an issue with somebody plus size. Okay, when you talk about arranged marriage with diabetes, that will be another problem, you know. So, you know, it's not just one level of it. And when it comes to arranged marriage, it's not just for women that it's a problem, for men as well. Men who are plus size, men who are bigger than they ought to be, you know, unke liye kya jata hai, you know, acha tusi, like, you just look at a regular girl, you know, don't aspire for too much. And the same thing goes for women. If you're plus size, you're constantly put in the maybe or the no category. It's never really the top category, right? When you talk about opportunities, if I go to a trade show versus when I'm standing somewhere, or if somebody's looking at me, they will look at me a certain way. So body positivity movement in general is that all kinds of bodies deserve respect, you know, which is something we don't give. And when you add in racism, when you add in sexism, when you add in an environment like India, wherein larger bodies, whether women or men, are not accepted as easily, or there are other problems that come with it, we come to layers of oppression, you know. So it's not just body size is your oppression. There is multiple levels that come to it, you know. Say you are plus size, you are dark skinned, and you are LGBTQ. Where will you go? You know, especially in a country like India, you would be considered the worst of the worst, you know. And I hate to say this, but this is how society views us, right? So the important part here is to understand that no matter what, you deserve respect. And the moment you start showing yourself that respect, that is when we will start bettering in the body positive movement.
What are some harmful consequences of diet culture? People really cut down on their food. Can you throw some light on that?
In terms of food, I have made portion choices, right? And that is the diet, so to say, that I have stuck with. But I'm also somebody who has 18 years of experience with understanding my dietary needs. So before anybody goes on a diet, or, you know, you go to a nutritionist who just prescribes you whatever, because India mein to ye bhi culture hai. Literally, I've been to one nutritionist who has prescribed the same diet to me, to my best friend, to a couple of other people. Like, there has literally been zero change. And if you look at all of our body types, distinctly different body types, right? So when all of these things started happening with me, that's when I was like, okay, you know what? The only person who can really understand my body is me, and I need to experiment with it. So experiment with your body, but experiment in a healthy way. You know, replace oats with eggs, or have quinoa, replace rice with oats, or replace rice with quinoa. You know, have some couscous, have shirataki noodles. Things you can really experiment with, and thankfully these are things that are becoming very readily available in the Indian market. You go to Blinkit, you go to Amazon, you will find these things. So just experiment, understand your body, and then go in from there. Don't give in to this diet culture, because the moment you get off this diet is when you'll gain back that weight. I've done it to myself, so I know, I'm talking from experience.
Yeah. So, do you think taking therapy really helps? Because in India, there's not much resource available. A lot of people don't even believe in therapy. I don't know where I stand on this topic, but what about you?
I frankly would not be here today looking as confident, talking as confidently if I had not gone through therapy. You know, therapy is something that takes your therapist, actually, not even therapy. Finding the right therapist is like finding the right doctor. You know, people have to go through multiple layers to find somebody who's really helpful. And finally, touchwood, I have a therapist who's fantastic, and frankly she is the reason that I am being able to do all that I'm being able to do now. Last couple of months, you know, with my surgery, with being on bed rest, I was again starting to go into elements of depression. You know, I am an anxious person. So learning mindfulness practices, having somebody to check in with, you know, and somebody who doesn't just listen to you. You know, a lot of times people think कि अच्छा therapy जाओ, कोई सुनेगा आपकी सारे दुखड़े और बस that's it. No, that's not what therapy is. A real true good therapist will literally give you avenues to work on after. I have therapy homework, which is the scariest homework that I have ever had in my life, you know. And if my therapist listens to this, I don't know how she's gonna feel about it. But I have therapy homework. Like right now, also I know that I have therapy day after. I have to finish my homework before my therapy session, and it's things that will help you be better as an individual. You know, one of my therapy homeworks was writing a letter to somebody who's hurt me. You know, one of my therapy homeworks has been really listing down things that other people have given me in terms of validation that I have not given myself. So I understand as to how to give myself that love, you know. So these are little things that you learn in therapy with a good therapist, mind you, that help you align yourself better. I personally didn't have body dysmorphia, but that is also something a lot of people kind of go through with. And therapy is literally the only thing that can help you get out of it and work towards, again, being a better version of yourself, but with the right tools. If you don't have the right tools, you'll just be running towards nothing, you know. And that is where my therapist has really helped me, wherein the tools have helped me become better in the daily basis, not in a acha sun liya 6 mahine baad hoega. No, it is on a daily checklist basis. So yeah, that helps. Therapy really helps.
So, do you think body dysmorphia is something which is related to mental health? How can one deal with this?
Yeah, I think body dysmorphia, because it comes from how you see yourself, how you feel about yourself, and you know, the moment you're in a negative loop, the only way you can do better is by consulting with an individual who has experience with dealing with patients. Because at the end of the day, the moment a mental health matter comes in, you are a patient. You know, mental health is really your health as well. You know, people in India don't give it enough credit, and you know, mental health days are taken as a joke. My own parents, it took them a very long time to understand how therapy has helped me. Even till date, yeah, they see how my therapist has helped me, but at the same time, you know, there's also अच्छा, you know, तू वापस आ गई है, तूने पाठ करना शुरू कर दिया है. There is that element of like your environment is helping you more than your therapist is helping you, but no, it's neither. So body dysmorphia, the only way to help yourself really, if you are going through it, is to please seek out therapy, because I don't really know any other solution for it.
What is the difference between, if there's any, body positivity and fat positivity?
Oh my god, my favorite question. So basically, a lot of times when we, as a plus size person, when we talk about body positivity, people think that, you know, we are okay being fat, or we are indulging in an environment where we are saying that it is okay to be fat. None of us are saying it's okay to be fat in the sense of like having over 40% body fat percentage or having a very high body fat percentage. No, it is never okay. Fat positivity, and there are creators who are doing fat positivity, and I'm sorry, it's really not in good taste, because being fat is not okay in terms of your health. Because there are two types of fat: there is subcutaneous fat and there's visceral fat, and visceral fat is your hardest fat to really lose, you know. And the more you exercise, the lesser you eat, you will start losing that fat, and that in the long run is healthier for you. You know, losing, I think, I don't know what exactly the statistic was, but losing 2% body fat elongates your life by 7 years or something like that. There is some statistic and we can look it up. But being fat positive means ki I am 115 kgs and I look great and I am going to die like this. No, that is not what body positivity is. Body positivity is that I look a certain way. I know these are going to be the implications of my health, but I am aspiring to do better and be better. Fat positivity is 115 kgs, looking great, going to stay like this, never going to lose the weight. But do you realize how bad in the long run it is for your heart health, for your gut health, for basically every internal organ? Because the more fat you have around your organs, the worse off it is for your body. So being fat positive and being body positive are two very different things. I am very body positive, but I am not fat positive. I am losing weight. I am trying to be in a better shape, not because I want to look a certain way, but because I want to be healthier. I want to be stronger. I want to be fitter. I know that if the non-assisted pull-up is my goal for next year, I have to lose the weight and become stronger internally to get there, right? I have seen people who are 50 kgs in the gym who can't even lift up their leg and do that,
Yeah.
Being skinny or being fat is not what makes you strong. Your internal muscles are what make you strong, but you have to work on that, and you can't work on that if you are 100 plus kgs. You have to understand that. So that's where fat positivity and body positivity really come in.
Have you ever been fat shamed or body shamed? And if yes, how have you dealt with it?
Oh my god, all my life. Like I said in the beginning, I've been the plus size girl, I've been the fat girl in the room. And it takes a toll, but then you learn to accept yourself. Like, I know when I dress up and I walk into a room, I know how to command that energy. Like, I know when I go into a certain space and I'm feeling good. It goes back to mentally me being good that day. I know that I will end up engaging with people, I will end up talking, and mostly people turn around and tell me, Kirat, we never even look at your body as the first thing when we speak to you, because the moment we start having conversations with you, it's not even that you're plus size. You are somebody who can talk. I'm somebody who's experienced the world. If I tell you, when I was in New York, when I'm talking about my office and everything, मैंने 12 foot lambe shelves खुद अकेले I have set them up. Like, I had nobody in my warehouse that day, no time. I just sat and I did it. I have gone through life, experienced life. So now, once I've experienced those parts of life, I don't give this much how to, like, somebody's calling me fat, somebody's not calling me fat, this, that. But then you have experiences like this wherein a partner leaves you because you're fat, or something like that happens, and that really brings you down. Like, I don't think anything would have hurt me as much as that experience did, right? And then you learn to pick the positive from it. Okay, this is what happened, this person was not right for me. Now I will be on a journey to finding myself and who I am as an individual, more than just my body. You don't look at your body as just the only thing that makes you you. And that's when you can start really separating yourself from the body shaming and the fat shaming, and get to a better stage. And all through that we've talked about, mindfulness practices, all of these things have to be constantly told to yourself. It's not something कि आज मैंने सोचा आज करा कल नहीं करा. If I'm not doing all my mindfulness things on a daily basis, I will go back into the rut that I was in. So you have to build things around the environment that you're in. On top of that, when you go into a gym, as a plus size person in a gym where
Yeah.
people are like so fit and they're running, and I'm not just plus size now, I am injured also. So I can't do, I used to be able to do squat, I used to be able to do so much, I used to be able to do deadlifts and all. मैं अब कुछ नहीं कर सकती, it'll take me another 6 months to be really back at that stage, right? So you get so conscious of people are going to think no matter what, क्योंकि वो भी अंदर से यही सोच रहे होंगे कि मैं उनको देख रही हूँ.
Huh.
Right? हर बंदे के दिमाग में चीज तो यही चल रही है, because we're all humans at the end of the day.
Right.
So now I don't care. I take my camera, I set up on my tripod, I'm shooting myself, and I know people are looking at me and some of them are giving me looks also and stuff. I'm like, it doesn't matter. I know some people are making fun of my Instagram because being a plus size person, I'm talking about fitness, I'm talking about workouts at the gym, I'm talking about all of this. But am I letting those people get to me? No. Why? Because this is my journey, right? And लोगों का काम क्या है? कहना. लोग क्या करेंगे? कहेंगे. सो जितना हम उनको वो भाव देते रहेंगे उतना वो आगे बढ़ते रहेंगे इस चीज में. द मोमेंट यू टेक ऑन एन एटीट्यूड ऑफ दिस इज व्हाट इट इज, यू जस्ट फॉरगेट दिस एंड यू डू योर
बहुत हो
ओन
गया.
थिंग. बहुत हो गया. That's when khalas, life is great.
But it's so true. Like, it's actually in the gym where you also feel that, uh, my body is not perfect.
Yeah.
I feel it, like, when I go to the gym कि नहीं, मुझे और काम करना पड़ेगा अपने बॉडी पे. डू यू थिंक दैट्स अ गुड थिंग कि हम वो एक उसको इंस्पिरेशन के जैसे लेके कन्वर्ट कर दे, रादर देन उसके बारे में नेगेटिव तरीके से सोचना, एंड आई एम वर्किंग सो हार्ड एंड आई एम नॉट एबल टू गेट देयर.
Yeah.
It's been months now. Instead of thinking all of those things, maybe we can draw inspiration from these people at the gym and,
100%. I completely agree. Like, if you talk about my journey, right? I've been stuck on a weight for the last 12 days. Have I stopped going to the gym? No.
yeah.
Has it demotivated me? Maybe, yeah. I've had days where I've been like, why am I stuck? I'm doing everything. But do I let it stop me from actually doing the things that I need to do? No. Discipline is all about learning कि ये करने की जरूरत है तो है, and we can all strive to be better. We can strive to be stronger. We can strive to be thinner. We can strive to be bigger. Whatever your goal is, just set your goal, figure out your action plan for it, and just go at it. And like I said, you can draw inspiration from the smallest thing in life. So just pick that small thing and pick that inspiration and just go with it.
So, Kirat, you have this experience where you've lived in US, you have had that exposure. However, in our country, there are many people who don't have that kind of exposure, be it men or women. How can they work towards the confidence that they should have the way you have?
I think the one thing that works for me in terms of my confidence is when I walk into a room, I never think that I am the smartest person in that room. I always think that I'm the dumbest person in this room, right? So you can learn from other people's experiences. And when you learn and when you listen to other people, you get exposure. We all think that traveling is exposure or going out is exposure. No. Interacting with people is the biggest exposure as a human that we can get, right? So that's my first thing, that I always listen, even though it seems like I'm a chatterbox and I always chat up people, which I do, not gonna lie, but I also listen a lot, and I listen to people's experiences. I learn from people's experiences, so somebody's listening to me, learn something from my experience if you possibly can. I have learned so many things from so many different people's experiences. That's one. I think the second thing is find your tribe. Find people who support you. Find people who lift you up. Find people who help you shine. For me, that's my parents, my best friends, my brother, my family, like my close people. They lift me up like nothing else. Touch wood, touch wood, touch wood. नजर ना लगे किसी को. But that's one, that's two. And thirdly, I think grooming yourself. Grooming can be internal and external both. What that means is, while I'm confident to walk out without makeup, without any sort of layering, in terms of I have to wear a certain type of clothing, or I have to wear heels, I have to wear this, nothing. I don't have that in me. This is who I am, take it or leave it. But having said that, I'm a well-groomed person. For me, having my eyebrows done is important, smelling good is important. Even if I'm in my sweatpants, looking stylish is important. There is all of that.
That gives you confidence.
That gives me confidence. You have to pick things that give you confidence. Like, you will never see me walk out without sunglasses. Sunglasses is my one thing that everybody who knows me is, Kirat ne sunglasses to pehne hi honge. And I have the quirkiest sunglasses. Like, I have these big ones and I have these small ones and very like different kinds. So now I'm known to have the quirkiest pieces. So you pick things. Exposure doesn't have to mean that you have to travel the world. Instagram gives us so much exposure to the world. It's on our fingertips. What's trending, what's not trending, what's on point, what's not on point. And not saying follow trends, because frankly, I very rarely follow trends,
Yeah.
and I've been given a lot of flack for it. My cousins, my friends, my stylist, really is like, no, you have to do this. I was like, just because everybody is doing it, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
It's not me. So find your vibe. So find your tribe and find your vibe. I think that's the best way to put as to how to build confidence is vibe and tribe.
I'm really happy for you that you have your family and friends and your tribe.
Yeah.
However, there are people sometimes with family and friends and close people at the same time who are not really who do not know what body positivity is. So how can we engage into a conversation with our family and friends and educate them about body positivity without hurting them or their emotions, at the same time protecting myself as well?
I think what worked for me was to really sit everybody down as if we're having an intervention, especially with my parents and my brother. Like, I sat all of them down and I was like, I understand you guys want a certain thing for me, and I want it for me as well. I want to look a certain way, I want to lose weight, I want to be better. But having this constant thing in the house where all conversations end up becoming about my weight or about my body or about this is just not healthy. It's not healthy for you guys because you guys get stressed, and it's not healthy for me because I get stressed, right? So let's put a break in it. If you end up seeing me make decisions that are not helping in my ultimate goal, let's chat at that point. The other thing that I did was with my friends. They all are very supportive, thankfully. And one of my best friends is an athlete. The other is a lawyer. And while they all come from very distinct backgrounds, health and fitness, and just generally being good with ourselves and kind to ourselves, are conversations we all have. Mental health is such a big topic that we all discuss. So sitting with them, I never really had to hold an intervention. It was more like, guys, I'm doing this for myself, and if you guys can support me in whatever capacity. And it's really sweet because a lot of times I'll go work out with my friend who's an athlete. A lot of times I'll send my content that I'll have made for the day, and I'm not sure about something I've said. I'll send it to my best friend, and she'll like proofread it and be like, "Ha, theek hai, ye theek nahi hai, ye theek hai," and then I'll do the little changes. So what, with your people, what helps is just telling them this is what you need. When
Yeah.
they are your people, when you go to your parent, right? When you go to your parent and you tell them, this is what I need from you, I'm struggling here, they will never say that I'm not going to help you or I'm not going to be there for you. If it is somebody who really truly cares for you, they will be there no matter what. And that is exactly what I've done with my people. I've sat them down, I've told them, this is what I'm going through. When I went through whatever mental health issues that I went through, and you have to understand where you can place yourself to ask for that help. So remember to ask, and help shall be given. So there's a Harry Potter line that says that, right? So yeah, that's what it is.
I'm a big Harry Potter fan.
Yes, here, see, my little trinket is also a Harry Potter trinket.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
All right.
big Harry Potter
You
fan,
are
right?
the
Yeah.
bigger fan. Moving
Yeah.
on to the lighter note
Yeah.
of our podcast,
Yeah.
we have a quick rapid fire round for
Oh
you.
God. My first rapid fire. Yay.
Yay. And are you ready for it?
We'll find out.
One thing you love about your body.
Can't say it on camera, but let's go with my smile.
All right. Your go-to self-care product.
Scrubs, body scrubs. I love them.
Does it not dry you out?
I mean, you use a good moisturizer after, so.
Okay. One thing that makes you feel confident.
Good outfits and sometimes good selfies. Really makes me feel very good.
One thing that you're grateful for about your body.
I think how it supported me through everything and how fast it reacts to every good thing that I start doing for my body, whether it's mental or physical. Good stuff, immediate results.
One thing but.
Supportive, like how supportive my body is.
Okay. Favorite comfort food.
Rajma chawal and butter chicken, but butter chicken from Mughal Mahal in Patel Nagar.
Guys, we are going to Mughal Mahal in Patel Nagar in Delhi for some butter chicken.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right. Kirat, thank you so much for being on Beyond the Screen with Shivijay and with me. It's been an honor having you about the things that we've spoken about. It's been lovely having this conversation. I'm sure so many of our viewers are going to be uplifted through this.
Thank you so much. I loved being here and talking about my journey. And this is very exciting.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.